Good afternoon and welcome to our first meeting in May. We have a couple of proclamations before we get into the body of our minutes. The invocation tonight will be led by Councilman Kyle Newton, and respects of the class will be led by Luis Martinez. Please rise.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion and allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of this community. Fill us with your grace and continue to remind us that all we do here tonight is for the pursuit of truth and for the glory of you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first proclamation is honoring an educator, and I'm going to ask Mr. Ron Dillingham to come up and stand beside me while I read the proclamation. Good to see you. Yes, sir. The proclamation reads, honoring Randolph H. Dillingham. Whereas the role of a school director is important to the community, this individual is at the helm of educational leadership. He or she has the tremendous responsibility of developing and sustaining a guiding vision and mission that drives the overall quality of a school's program. And whereas Mr. Randolph Dillingham has served as the director for the Renaissance Academy since 1998, creating a safe, caring, positive environment, promoting innovation, education, development, and life experiences for each student. And whereas Renaissance Academy since 1996 has established itself in the community as a place where students in grades 6 through 12 who have been expelled or removed from Anderson School Districts 1, 2, 3, and 4 can get back on track in a safe, structured environment. Whereas Mr. Dillingham, affectionately called Mr. D by many, is retiring from the Renaissance Academy. His legacy being the #1 advocate for his students, how well he treated you with fairness and respect for over 1,000 graduations and embodying love and logic. And whereas he is married to Diane Channel, his one daughter, Melanie, son-in-law, Drew Watson, and 3 grandchildren, Cole, Kate, and Anna. Sharing his passion, the torch of an educator is being passed through his family as a principal, coach, an inspiring teacher, and museum curator. And whereas Randolph Dillingham has demonstrated an inspiring dedication during his 26-and-a-half-year career, guiding with strong leadership and compassion to students, education, support staff, parents, and community groups and partners. A beautiful example of unselfish love. And whereas today we wish to acknowledge and honor the outstanding work to Mr. Dillingham, which provides an opportunity to reflect on how much he is respected, appreciated, and loved. And whereas the City of Anderson applauds Mr. Dillingham's leadership, service, and selfish dedication, he has made a positive and effective impact in the Anderson community. Now, therefore, I, Terrence V. Roberts, Mayor of the City of Anderson, along with my fellow council members of City Council, would like to extend our best wishes as you embark on your new journey. Congratulations, Mr. Dillingham. I would say, and I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Dillingham, that our own council member Stewart is, by and large, is responsible for this dedication. And like a lot of our council members, we see things in the community that we think should happen, and I want to thank you, Tony, for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
The floor is yours.
I didn't know about this part. I didn't know any of this. Serving in this capacity in this community has been one of the biggest honors of my life, and I say that very reverently because being a deacon in my church was right up there, but this is very important. I don't want to go. I don't want to leave. I love this place. Love these schools. I love these kids. They're tough, but all they are is a reflection of our society. And they need our help. They need our guidance. They need a strong hand and a loving kick in the butt sometimes. And we've tried to provide all of that. But it's been because of the immense support from this community, from the county. 28 years ago, when this thing was just a dream in George Duckworth's mind, the county got together, the districts got together, and that in itself is a miracle to have all the school districts get together to create this thing. It's been a model all over the state of South Carolina, not because of what I've done, but because Anderson did it right. And I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to work with so many wonderful staff members, so many agencies. When I first came here, I came from the prison system. I got out of jail and came here. I served as a principal in the prison Department of Corrections for a number of years. And when I came here, I was amazed at the number of agencies that offer services in Anderson County to these troubled kids. And you're all to be applauded for all of the hard work that goes to support those agencies. And it pays off. It's slow work, but it pays off. So I applaud you and ask you continue to do that. Our kids need everything they can get. They need every bit of support they can get. But Mayor, thank you so much. Mr. Stewart, thank you, all of you guys. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very kind. Hello, ma'am. Good to see you.
I told you you wasn't in trouble.
You know what this is about.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
I
for all you
appreciate
do.
you. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
You know, one of the things Mr. Dillingham has done over his years is always extended the doors of the Anderson Alternative School, the Renaissance Academy now, to the community groups to allow us to hold our community meetings on the east side in there. So it's just been a great partnership that we've had, and we're looking forward to, continue our partnership with the new leadership that's coming in as well. So, Mr. Dillingham, we appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
On the next proclamation, I'm going to get Chief Stewart to come down and join me. And I'll read the proclamation and turn the floor over to the Chief. The proclamation reads the National Police Week 2024. To recognize National Police Week 2024 and to honor the service and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our community and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are over 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Anderson Police Department. Whereas nearly 60,000 assaults against law enforcement officers are reported each year. And whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, 24,067 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty, including 5 members of the Anderson Police Department. And whereas the name of these dedicated police servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., and whereas 282 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring who died in the line of duty in 2023. Whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty were honored during the National Law Enforcement Memorials Fund's 36th annual Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th of 2024. And whereas May 15th, 2024 is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families in the U.S. Families and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff. Therefore, be resolved that the City of Anderson Incorporate formally designates May 10th through May 16th as National Police Week in the City of Anderson, and publicly submits to law enforcement officers in our community and communities across the nation. We signed this 28th day of May 24th of 2024. Chief? Thank you.
Again, Mayor, thank you for recognizing this day, this week, and National Law Enforcement Memorial Day, which will be this Wednesday. We will be doing a service this week with the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge number 10, and we'll have that service at 6 p.m. Wednesday. And I would invite all of y'all and the public to come to that. We're very fortunate this year. As I just checked, we have had not one law enforcement death in South Carolina this year, and we pray that we don't have any this year. So, again, thank you for this recognition, Council. I appreciate it.
What is the visual?
It will be at Anderson County Courthouse. In the event there is rain, which there's a possibility this week, we'll move inside the old Anderson County Courthouse for the ceremony. But
Thank you, Chief.
thank you again.
Our last proclamation is having to do with National Boat Safety Week and Safe Week, Boating Week. And hard to believe it's that time of the year, but it's getting warm and we're out on the lakes. And I'm going, is Larry here or just y'all? Huh? Well, good, come on up. Mr. and Mrs. Cooper, right?
Yes, sir.
Got that right? I know y'all. So the proclamation reads, whereas for nearly 100 million Americans, boating continues to be a popular recreation activity from coast to coast and everywhere in between. People are taking to the waters and enjoying time together, boating, sailing, paddling, and fishing. And whereas recreational boating is fun and enjoyable, and we are fortunate that we have sufficient resources to accommodate the wide variety of pleasure demands. However, our waterways have become crowded at times and can be a place of chaos and confusion. And whereas during National Safe Boating Week, the U.S. Coast Guard and its federal, state, and local safe boating partners encourage all boaters to explore and enjoy America's beautiful waters respectfully and responsibly. Safe boating begins with preparation. And whereas on average 650 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the United States, and 75% of these fatalities caused by drowning. And whereas the vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment and not by a boat, equipment, or environmental factors. And whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning this year would have been alive today if they had just worn life jackets. And whereas now, therefore, I, Terrence V. Roberts, Mayor of the City of Anderson, along with my fellow council members, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through the 24th of National Safe Boating Week and the start of the year-round effort to promote safe boating. And I encourage all those who boat to practice safe boating and wear a life jacket at all times during the boating season. Sign this day, May of 2024. And I'll get Mr. Cooper to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. As he said, 75% of the deaths occur from drowning. The numbers don't lie. 85% of that group would be alive today if they had a life jacket on. It's just that simple. Years ago, nobody wanted to wear a seatbelt. Now everybody wears one, a lot less fatalities on the roads. Boating is the same way. People can say, I'm a good swimmer. If you get knocked out when you go out of the boat, you're going to drown. Having said that, not only do we want you to wear it so that you don't die and drown, in the event that you do, it makes recovery a lot easier. Nothing's worse than dealing with a family that can't have closure because the body of someone can't be recovered. That doesn't happen when you're wearing a life vest. So we encourage people to be safe, wear your vest, take a boating class. South Carolina passed a law last year, 2007, if you were born then or any time after, or before that, excuse me, From 2007 on, you have to have a boater safety course. That's a requirement. That's basically last year, 16 years of age and younger. So that's going to be going forward, and going forward, we'll see a lot safer waters because a lot more people will have to have a boater safety course. But even if you're 50 years old and never driven a boat, we strongly recommend that. Coast Guard Auxiliary provides that for free, as does Boat America, the boating clubs. So those classes are available. Take one, be safe out on the water. We have a great resource, Lake Hartwell, Lake Broadway. I mean, we've got stuff right around. Just this last week, we constructed through a grant a life jacket loaner station at Broadway Lake. Hopefully the citizens of Anderson will make use of that. If you get to the lake and you don't have a life jacket, there's a loaner station. Grab one, just return it at the end of the day. We have grant money for 2 more of those, and we'll be working with the county. Hopefully we can get one at Green Pond. So we truly appreciate the city recognizing safe boating and promoting it, and we just want to get the word out. It's easy to have a great time on the lake this summer. It all starts with being safe and paying attention.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The minutes of our April 22nd meeting were distributed. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Not hearing any, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a first by Dr. Thompson.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lockridge. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The minutes of April 22nd passed unanimously. We have one item of old business, and that item is request second reading of ordinance 2407 to rezone approximately 3.5 acres at the southwest corner of South Murray Avenue and West Franklin Street from RM10 multifamily residential to a PDD planned development district. Mr. Kuhn.
Thank you. Mr. Maurice McKenzie will go over the side for you. We discussed it numerous times and comes to you on second reading.
Thank you. Again, as the Mayor mentioned, this is 3.5 acres. It's bounded by 4 streets: Murray Avenue, Franklin Street, Howard Street, Johnson Street. We're very familiar with this property, the Murray Franklin site. It consists of 11 parcels within that block, all owned by the city currently. But the proposal is to rezone this from RM10 multifamily to PDD, so approximately 80 apartment units can be constructed. RM10 allows apartments in multifamily, but they're requesting a PDD zoning classification so they can have more development flexibility, more innovative design, things like that can be captured in a PDD document. Nothing has changed since your first reading with the PDD document, so this comes to you tonight for second reading.
Thank you, sir. Any questions, additional questions or comments?
I do have one question,
Mr. Stewart?
and I apologize, I wasn't at the last meeting, but I know in some previous discussions, we had talked about possibly putting the playground on on another property that the city had owned, that's kind of on the other side of the street. But I see on this map, it's still on the parent parcel, I guess. Is that just, it's still exploring that, or?
Yeah, actually, we're working, Mayor Haley Thompson's been on the phone all day with Sarah Neiman, who's the representative from Crestwood Development. And in those conversations, we're at the point where trying to make the most competitive application as possible to the state. The full application is due by the end of May. So they do require, as part of the unit itself, to have a small playground on it. However, one of the things that we put in a design concept was a playground across the street that's more expansive, and that would help the application as well. It's something that community development funds could go towards. And so we have put that in as a concept submission with the application, and that will give us an additional point. I'll answer any more questions you may have, and any questions on the timeline, I can answer that as well.
If I understand it right, this is the first step in a multi-step process. And so if this project can get to the finish line of funding, that's when we'll really dive into the design concept and
Yeah, dive into the design,
The
then,
park
which leads to
addition
the
and so
permit and so forth. So the main focus right now is simply just having the most competitive application you can, which is due at the end of May. That's the full application. And then the scores are posted, August, September is what we're looking at for that. So you know, if you're going to be awarded the funds or the developer awarded the state tax credits. And then from there, you get a formal notification. September, October is about the time frame. And then from there it moves very fast. You talk about the design details, how, all the civil engineering goes into that. You have a process of that. And then if everything were to get awarded, move forward, the green light, the city would move to close on the property with the developer. And in spring 2025, it would go under construction with a 12 to 16 month construction phase.
great. Any other questions, comments?
After years of discussion, I'm glad we've gotten to this point. And so hopefully we'll reach the next point that we need about October, did you say?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
It
So
would be
we'll know
approved so we can
something
move
by August, September, hopefully, is when we'll kind of find out if they post the scores. And September, October, we'll definitely know.
And we talked about a lot about attractive design, so we'll have time to talk about that, I'm sure, to make this a very attractive, something that we need so very badly at Murray Franklin. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve this on second reading?
Second reading.
Second reading.
First by Dr. Thompson.
Second again.
Second by Mr. Lockridge. Mr. Roberts.
Just one question, and this doesn't belong in the PDD, but this is a 4-story building. And I think 4 stories will require an elevator. Is that everybody's understanding?
And she, Sarah Neiman confirmed that at the last meeting that they want to put an elevator in. And so what they were doing is and again, the design have multi-layers of conversation. It's really focused on the application right now, but their thought process was, because the land topo goes down, decreases as you go away from Murray to the west, is that it have 3 stories, and then they use that elevation changes a 4-story. They put an elevator in. They would not put an elevator in for a 3-story, and so I think that is a positive. And so that's the design concept as of right now. Again, that's really just for the application submittal for right now, though.
Good question. Any other questions? We had a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously on the second and final reading. I have 2 items of new business, and the first item is to request consideration to purchase law enforcement tasers for the detention center. Mr. McEwen.
This meets our strategic goal of providing a safe and secure environment for our detention center staff. This is a request for equipment. Mr. Chief Stewart will go over this item.
Yes, sir. Mr. McEwen, so this is our standard taser equipment. It was time to update the equipment for the detention center. The current equipment that's been in there has been on a 5-year lease that's coming to an end and is at the end of its warranty. We have negotiated with Taser again through Axon and received this bid. And for the most part, this is a much-needed piece of equipment that protects our people inside the detention center and also helps to reduce workman's comp violations.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions or comments?
I have one.
Ms. Lockridge.
Do we not have tasers now in there?
So we just have went through, yes, sir, everybody does. They're just at the end of their life.
Okay.
At the warranty period. And these are going to be a little bit updated from what we have now. Yes, sir.
Good, good. Any, Ms. Stewart?
Chief, didn't we just approve a contract recently for some tasers? And then I'm just curious, what's the difference between, before we approved so many tasers for our, I guess, our regular law
Yes, sir.
enforcement, and then this is a separate contract? It wouldn't
We've
everything
always-
come together and under one contract?
The exact reason why we do that, to keep the law enforcement side separate from the detention side, is because this is funded under the commissary account. And even though some may argue it's not a benefit to the prisoner as a taser, it is. It's a tool that can be used, so we can touch that funding. We can't do that with law enforcement.
And this is identical to the tasers that we just approved recently, is
It's
that
very
correct?
similar, yes, sir.
Similar or different?
The one law enforcement is getting is a little bit higher tech. We don't really need that in a confined setting in a detention center. Basically, the taser that will be on the road for the officers can shoot a little farther, not so much in the detention center. 15 feet. The one on the road goes about 25 feet.
I know, but it's still, because I know last time, with the old taser had the wire that came out for it, and it still allowed for some guys to do hand-to-hand combat, I guess unruly citizens, and it's caused some problems. Well, when you're in a confined setting in a prison, would that kind of still have the same effect? Will it still be the wire? Will it be the one that doesn't have the wire on it that kind of limits that?
Right.
The thing for, workers' comp and things like that.
The upgraded feature with this taser is where the original taser just had the one shot, and if it didn't work, you had to take that off and dry stun somebody. This taser will have 2 cartridges, so if the officer misses the first time, they have a second shot. And if that doesn't work, they can still dry stun. They can put the taser to somebody, yes.
Just want to understand, that's all.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
First by the Mayor Pro Tem. Second by Mr. Newton. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Passes unanimously. Our last item of new business is request approval to purchase and install 2 250 horsepower variable frequency drivers for the Generosity Creek wastewater treatment plant influent pump station. Mr. McEwen.
Yes, just as we were talking about recently in our budget work session, this meets the strategic goal of assuring sustainable growth by pursuing long-term infrastructure projects and maintaining the sewer treatment capacity. In this case, we did set up a separate accounting fund within the utilities, the sewer side, because you have a lot of mechanical devices operating 24/7 at both plants. So that we can repair and replace and predict the replacement of these pumps as necessary. And so we have a what we call a repair and replacement account set up for that. And with that, we have the need for 2 large influent pumps, and Mr. Scott Banks will go over the bids.
Good evening again. These are actually the drives on those pumps. Each plant has 4 pumps, 2 large, 2 small. We have the variable frequency drives on the 2 large pumps so that we can increase and decrease flow as needed. But if I'm not mistaken, these are 1998 vintage drives, and so they've reached their life expectancy, and we are struggling to keep them repaired with replacement parts, as you might expect. That's something that old. We're finding parts for them is become impossible almost. We received 3 bids. The apparent low bidder was from Davis Power Solution, who has done quite a bit of work for us on these the influent pump stations, and has kept them piecemeal together for us. But like I said, we're at a point we just need to replace them outright, and so we're confident that they can do that since they've done so much work for us. Hill Electric, we also received a bid of $67,081, and EMAX Squared out of Columbia for $68,903. It would be funded through our sewer utility budget, and as Mr. McEwen pointed out, this complies with our strategic goals. And with that, in summary, staff recommends approval of the purchase and installation of 2 variable frequency drives from Davis Power Solutions at a price of $64,600.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
Does this cost ever change from what we've received here as a bid to after the purchase? Can that cost change at all?
A change order?
Yeah. As far as the bids that we received from Davis Power, could that number change from 64,600?
Not, I mean, the only way, no, I mean, once we receive the bids, now, we may, sometimes they may come back and say, hey, we can give you a discount because of whatever, but what we present to you is usually what
Okay.
it is.
But I think in your question about procurement regulations that we have to follow, here are the bid amounts. You have to justify why you would not go with the low bidder. That is the amount, so that's the contract we will sign with them. If something came up as far as once we get out there, they removed the piece of equipment and there was something else that wasn't identified previously that we bidded out in the specifications, and then that would be a change order and that would be a change in cost. But other than that, this is the cost, the contract price.
Okay. Yeah, I only asked that for, anytime we've got an incumbent business here in town and they're that close in bid, I just want to make sure there's not any additional cost that could skew that bid there. So just rooting for the hometown guys, but I understand what we have to do.
Second that with you.
Good. Any other questions, comments?
I move that we approve the purchase of and installation of a 250 horsepower variable frequency drive for the Generosity Creek Water Treatment Plant influent pump station.
Thank you. It's a
That's quite a
mouthful.
mouthful.
Well, first by Ms. Lockridge,
Second.
second by Dr. Thompson. Any further discussion?
One comment.
Ms. Stewart?
Just kind of getting back to what Councilman Martinez said, I know, we don't always have to go with the low bid.
Yes.
And would they be what is, I know we have experience, I guess, with,
Davis Power, yes. And that's the main reason on this one. Normally, I'd say, yeah, let's go, let's not cater, but go with the local. But the thing is, I want to be down as short a time as I can, and because Davis is familiar, Hill would come in, they'd have to almost not relearn, but become familiar with the system, and our downtime would probably be a little longer and that kind of thing.
and I would hope, I guess, when they look at it, we talk to them, let them kind of explain, hey,
Yes, sir.
That's, because we always want to try to keep the business local.
No, understand.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
One other question dealing with this. Isn't there something in our rules and regulations somewhere along the line that if you have a bid from a local, that there has to be a percentage above or?
Correct. So if in our procurement regulations, it says that if they're inside the corporate limits, that if there are 7% difference in the cost, you can't consider them.
Okay.
However, you can't you got to be careful on these bids. You can't just choose, hey, we want to go with EMAC, even though they're 68. You got to provide strong justification for that. We've been challenged on those. We've gone to court on these things, and it's cost us some legal fees being challenged on it, and there's.
Well, I understand why you
Yep.
would go with somebody like Davis who has a lot of experience.
Yeah, and because we had that conversation, does Hill fall into this? And then Davis had the lowest bid, plus they had the experience with it. They were familiar with the plant. So not only did they have the lowest bid, but they had the experience here and familiar with the plant.
I know in past history, though, we have gone with a higher bid simply because they were a local company.
So, and we've disqualified the other bidder for a particular reason. They don't have a contract license, they didn't have particular things, they weren't able to meet it. So as long as you justify those things and put it in a formal letter, then you can do it.
Understand.
Any other questions, comments? Had a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. We had an executive session maybe, but I see a young lady up here writing in a notebook. I don't know if you're doing anything for school. Did you have to come and, huh? Stand up. Tell us who you are.
Tell us your name.
I'm a scout with Boy Scout troop, leadership, which is like an enjoying girl troop, like a troop. And I'm currently working on the citizenship and the community merit badge. I'm Cora.
Okay.
And the goal was to find an issue and write about the issue, and then write about what you believe in the situation on how to fix it, or, you know, if you won't get the issue.
Okay.
Okay, great.
So I chose the issue for the sewer system because that one interested me the most. And it was easy to follow.
We should come back
You can come back, Corey, and explain it to us next time. Thank you for coming, appreciate it. Thank you.
I think a future engineer maybe.
Yeah. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
First by the Mayor Pro Tem, second by Mr. Stewart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We stand in executive session. Thank you.